What's up, guys? On this week's show,
they ain't taking my guns.
We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now, 'cause it's bad boy for life.
And Resident Evil 47?
all that and more on this episode
of One Giant Leap for Geeks.
Cue the music.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Geeks. Welcome to another episode of OGLFG, where we talk about movies, video games, and all things in geek culture. I'm your host, Mike C. Squared. And with me are my co-hosts, Benwah.
I was listening to an 80s American-British duo by the name of Wax, and I like their two singles, but I understand why they had very little success with not even really one minor hit in April of 86.
And DJ Melly.
Hey!
Before we get started, I want to let you know, if you enjoy the show, tell some friends about us, share some of your social media, whatever you choose to do, just know that you're helping us let others know about the best damn podcast they probably never heard of. Now, if you want to talk to us, the show is on Twitter, at GiantLeap4Geeks. You can get a hold of our resident DJ Melly at Froggy Beaver, and Benwah's at Benwah Gaming. That's BENWAH Gaming.
If you're like me and around my age, you're a sucker for nostalgia, especially 80s and 90s. I'm talking music, movies, television, games, just pop culture as a whole. So, if you're from mid-Michigan or going to be traveling to the area, I suggest you check out Rewind and Birch Run. Rewind is a vintage-inspired blast from the past with not just cool trinkets and novelty items, but dope gear to rock as well. I'm talking shirts, jackets, caps, and even sneakers. Retro styles to make your inner child smile. Absolutely, positively, definitely check out Rewind. You might even see your boy Benwah copping something old school or shooting the breeze with the owner, Tyler. Rewind is right off of I-75, exit 136 in the Birch Run Premium Outlets, Section E, next to Crocs.
What you been doing?
Preparing for my very, very, very overdue exit at work.
I don't know if you want to like put this on wax, because if on the off chance you end up getting stuck there, you gonna go back and listen to this and be like, damn.
No, I'm not staying there. After today, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. What you were telling me off mic, yeah.
I've put up with a lot, and this is it.
Mm-hmm.
So even if my other thing, excuse me, doesn't work out, I still ain't staying there. Nope. But other than that, I mean, I got some ice cream today. That was exciting.
Yeah, what kind?
I got a pumpkin pie cheesecake blizzard from Dairy Queen.
Yeah, well, I got to bleep that out. We're not sponsored by Dairy Queen. No, I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure you're fine. You can say Dairy Queen.
Well, hey, if there's any consolation, I don't know if I recorded my little non sequitur when you introduced me, so this is already going off to a great start.
Oh, nice.
We're just tripping all over shit this week.
Yep.
Yeah, I unpacked my house a little bit more this week, and we went and saw a movie without you.
Yes.
Sorry.
What you say like this, without you? Like, damn. Like, you were not invited either.
You were not invited. No, sorry.
No, well, yeah.
I had a sleepover with the girls. That was kind of cool. So our live studio audience and then a friend of ours, we kind of camped out in the living room Friday night.
Nice.
And,
did y'all do like the living room tent?
Nah, not the living room tent,
no.
but we like had the dog laying on the pillows, and we made homemade chicken tenders and popcorn, and they had like a giant 3-pound bag of gummy worms. So that was exciting, and we watched the original It and It Chapter 1. So
Nice. You know, it's funny. Every time I hear about girls talking about having like a sleepover or something like that, I always like picture like them like watching like The Notebook and eating like pizza rolls and like a pint of ice cream, and they're all wearing like oversized t-shirts and underwear, and they're just like sitting on the couch.
Doesn't sound too bad either.
With facials on.
I could pass on the pint of ice cream, but I'm down for some pizza rolls and an oversized shirt and The Notebook and the facials,
Yes,
the masks on your face. But no, we kind of had a scary girls' night, so that was exciting.
Spoopy.
Yeah.
Nice.
We had to prep for the movie that we saw that you were not invited to.
I know, right? She's like, bitch. What about you, Benwah? What have you been doing?
Well, apparently, I guess, I didn't look into this. I just happened to stumble upon it. Mountain Dew has released a mystery flavor of pop, and I got my hands on one of them. And it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
At first, I took a drink of it. I'm like, this tastes like a citrusy cotton candy. Like, it's real sweet and kind of orangey. And then I broke it down, and I think the voodoo mystery flavor is like creamsicle.
Ooh.
Okay. That'd
And imagine drinking a creamsicle pop.
Interesting.
Good in short bursts, but I couldn't regularly drink it because it's way too sweet.
Yeah, I would imagine that sweetness is like overwhelming.
Well, I'm glad it tastes better than the mystery Airheads. Y'all remember them?
No, I was never Airheads kid.
Oh, I like Airheads.
They came in like a silver package or a white package or something. Had question marks all over it. And it didn't have a color, so you couldn't guess the flavor.
Yeah, and it was just plain old white, right?
Yeah, I think it was like white or, I don't know, a weird yellow color or something, but I'm
like
pretty sure it was
that-
white.
I want to say it was white, yeah. 'Cause I remember those.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also been binge watching. I've been binge watching iZombie on Netflix.
Nice.
It was one of those. I wasn't feeling well. I was just kind of in bed, little headache. I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Let's turn on Netflix, see what it recommends. Came up saying like 99%, whatever they say, like not approval, but like 99%.
Oh, compatibility or whatever.
Compatibility.
Yeah, it's like.
I'm like, oh, what the hell? This is probably shit, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. And now I'm all the way through season 2.
Nice.
I enjoy that show.
Yeah, no, I hear it's pretty good, and one of the guys on the show, he's the Indian guy on the show.
Okay, Ravi.
Yeah. The guy in real life, his name is Raul Coley, and I follow him on Instagram and stuff because he has done like videos with like the Funhouse guys and stuff, and that's how I know him. And they always talk about him being on iZombie, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I've never watched the show, but I'm like, I'm aware of the.
Probably not something I'll ever watch. I'm not a zombie fan.
Well, it's more like a procedural show with like superhero elements in it. Like the girl's a zombie and she like is a what is the people who do the autopsies called? A coroner, yeah. And she eats the brain.
It's based on a graphic novel, and she's a coroner who gets these visions when she eats the brains of the cadavers or dead bodies.
Yeah, and then she solves the cases from that.
Okay, now
really
now you got me
like,
interested. Okay,
yeah, that's what I'm like. It's not what you think when you hear zombie. It's not.
Imagine
like
like Psych, but with brains and zombies. That's all it really is. It's like Psych.
All right,
or like what's another show that had like supernatural elements to it, but was still kind of a kind of Buffy, like the show, kind of sort of.
No, I wouldn't even. No. Buffy was almost like dark teen angst. This is more like kind of nerdy slapstick comedy, or within a procedural detective show.
Psych with zombies. Got it.
Yeah.
It's Psych with zombies.
Okay, I could probably check that out. I'll have to ask our studio audience if we paid the Netflix account.
Well, yeah, I didn't really care until the main thing that made me think, okay, this is something I might want to watch, is that it said like 5 seasons.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something that I might like the first 2 episodes, watch the season, have to wait a year to come back to. Yeah, like this is something that if I like, I got probably the better part of like 60 episodes to go through, so I can knock this baby out in like a week. They're on their
final season right now too.
Yeah, they still currently are on the I can't talk. They are still currently on the CW then.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're this year's their final year, and they're wrapping up this season now. We're towards the tail end of it.
Well, if you out there listening have not watched iZombie, but you've seen it, it gets Benwah's recommendation.
Nice.
And it gets 2 sniffs from Mike C Squared.
Right.
And it gets I'll check it out from DJ Melly Mill.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I'm so charismatic. I just made her want to watch that show. Somebody ought to hire me.
Right.
I'm saying.
Well, as for me, I am finally on vacation. It doesn't feel like a vacation because I didn't actually go anywhere. I'm just kind of at home. I've been getting some stuff done around the house that I've been meaning to get to for a while that I've been kind of putting off. But dealing with trying to house train and, just train and journal the dog. My allergies are not being friendly to me right now, so you get an extra nasally episode of One Giant Leap for Geeks this week. I don't think it's because of the dog, because that first week I was fine, but these last 2 or 3 days I've been kind of not really feeling it. Other than that, I just downloaded last night Earth Defense Force 5. It is a super long name, and it is a weird, corny, sandbox shooter where you're basically fighting giant ants and frogs with plasma rifles and aliens and all kind of weird shit. It's from Japan and it's crazy as shit, but it's actually really fun and is really addicting. And it has it's on Steam and on PS4. I'm playing on PS4. My gamer tag is Mike C Squared. So if you guys, anybody out there listening plays Earth Defense Force 5, I'm looking for parties. I'm a noob, so bear with me. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I've just been kind of maxing and relaxing, chilling out cool while I'm shooting some b-ball outside of a school.
Were there a couple of guys who were up to no good coming?
Right.
They making trouble?
In my neighborhood, right. All right, moving on.
Congratulations on finding a new job, Mel. Trust me, I too know what it's like to hate your job, but you can't leave it. Was that not subtle enough?
I've been watching my childhood on old tapes from the past.
Speaking of Big Willie, that was a nice little transition there. I didn't even do that on purpose, actually. We have our first official trailer for Bad Boys for Life. I'm disappointed right out the gate because there is no number 4 in the title, even though this is the 3rd movie. I still just expected them to go Bad Boys, the number 4, and then Life, but they didn't do that.
I think we said we didn't want that, if I remember correctly.
No, I wanted it just because it was going to be dumb.
Oh,
and it would have gave me
gotcha.
some
Well, it was
laughs.
initially going to just be Bad Boys 3.
Yeah. Which I don't know why they're calling it Bad Boys for Life, because it keeps confusing me and making me think, was there a Bad Boys 3 and I just don't remember it? And I'm like, no, there wasn't. Right? Because now I'm starting to wonder.
I think there was only 1 and 2.
Okay, all right, good. It's a secret Bad Boys 3.
Well, I think part of the reason they named it Bad Boys for Life was that one of the storylines is going to be Martin Lawrence's character wanting to retire. Is going to play into the whole midlife crisis, I want to retire thing, and so the name actually
So he's
does
pulling
make
a
little
lethal
more sense.
weapon then. Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, now he can be the one that says, I'm too old
for this shit.
Hell yeah, he can be the Murtaugh of this duo. Yeah, because
He kind of always was.
Yeah, because I would say if we're comparing him to Lethal Weapon, yeah, Will Smith was definitely the Mel Gibson of the franchise for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did all the crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because watching this, it made me remember how much I love the first Bad Boys and how much I dislike Bad Boys 2.
And see, I'm on the opposite side of that. I didn't care for the first one, but I loved the second one.
I'm like, it's because I think it's because I like a lot of Michael Bay's early movies, like The Rock and Bad Boys, shit like that. Like those movies I enjoy. Once he got bigger budgets and they gave him more money, pretty much everything after Armageddon, he just lost his fucking mind, and it was just they just gave him a fireworks factory, and he was just blow some shit up. And I'm like, now you're doing too much, Michael. You got to calm it down some. But the first Bad Boys is a perfect example of one of his earlier movies that I was like, this is actually really good.
I didn't even know that was a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, yep. First 2 Bad Boys, Michael Bay joints. Because, well, what makes you know that Bad Boys 2 is a Michael Bay movie is because during the middle of a shootout, there's a scene where Martin looks over and there's two rats fucking each other
That is
randomly.
true.
And
That
it's just
is
like,
true.
why is this in the movie? It's just like, it's shit like that Michael Bay just randomly throws in and he just thinks it's funny, I guess.
That's true.
And it's the same thing like the Transformers movies. Remember when Bumblebee peed on that dude? See, it's shit like that where it's just like, it's just this dumb, like, juvenile ass, like, frat boy humor.
I liked when Bumblebee peed on him, though. It was funny.
Or either that or like very lingering, exposing shots of women. Like either, we're like going a down blouse shot down Megan Fox's tank top, or, he's like upskirting some girl getting out of a car, a Lamborghini
True.
in slow motion. And
True.
it's like, come on, man. Or somebody's running and they titties slapping them in the face in slow motion. It's like, okay, man, like I get it. Like, you think she's hot. Like, can we progress the story? Like, no, we're going to just keep doing all right. So
he makes films. He shoots films like he's a 20-year-old college student just waiting to lose his virginity.
yes, he shoots everything like
Michael
it's
Bay.
like a rap music video. Like
all those explosions, all those big booms in his films are just him metaphorically having that first busted nut
yes. You
over
were
and
right.
over and over again.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
No, I swear to God, yeah. And there's always a chick like running through it too. So it's like the metaphor is complete.
Y'all are right. Y'all are right.
But that being said, though, even though Michael Bay isn't directing this one,
Mm-hmm.
it still looks just as big and loud and bombastic as the second one did.
That's true.
And I was kind of hoping that they would kind of tone it down some for the third one, because it's like they're older and
See,
shit.
that's kind of why I liked the second one. The
Yeah.
second one was big and loud, and the first one was just too slow for me. But
Too slow.
yeah,
That whole bit where Martin is trying to go meet the witness for the first time, and Will is knocked out in the hospital and shit, so he can't come, so he has to pretend he's Will.
Mike Lowry.
Yes, he's outside the apartment, and he's like trying to
Mike Lowry. Yeah.
mimic him. Mike Lowry. Yeah, that all that shit's hilarious. Or at the very beginning when he's talking about his Porsche and about how it's like a big black shiny dick and the balls just dragging the fuck along. Like that movie is gold. It's perfect just the way it is. Quote me one funny line from Bad Boys 2. I'll rest my
Somebody
case, Your
shot
Honor.
you. Somebody shot me. Who shot me? You shot me.
You ever made love to a grown man?
See, okay, all
Somebody
right.
shot you in the ass. I was
See,
shooting, but
that
I mean,
That
whole-
was the second one, right?
Yeah,
Pretty sure it was the second one.
That
I shot
when
you
his
in
the ass.
daughter's boyfriend comes to the house, yeah, he's like
ludicrous
trying to,
looking motherfucker.
yeah. Oh my
You
God.
30 at least.
All right, never mind. I'm sorry I brought it up. I'm sorry. So then Mel, tell me what did you think about this trailer?
I'm excited for it.
Okay.
I mean, I do enjoy the franchise as a whole,
Okay.
and Will Smith, I like pretty much everything that he's in, so
Fair.
I'm excited for it.
What about you, Benwah?
I don't care. I'm a little more curious about LA's Finest, which was a spin-off of Bad Boys 2.
LA's Finest. What was that one?
It's a TV show.
Cop show.
What was it on? Like what network?
I want to say Fox.
No, I have no idea. All I know is
UPN. No.
I think it's just some cable network or something, or maybe it didn't get picked up. All I know is supposedly it's airing now, or it's going to be airing. It takes Gabrielle Union's character, teams her up with Jessica Alba. I don't know anything else about it though.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have watched it.
All
It
I
might
know
have been
is
on HBO.
they're both good actresses, and I mean they both fine as hell. And I love Dark Angel 20 years ago.
Damn.
Am I thirsty to you? Hang on a second. Let me get a drink.
No, it looks like there could be some funny moments in it. Like the funniest part of the whole trailer is the very end when they're singing the Bad Boys, and Will's like, no. He's like, y'all will never do that again. And Martin's like, what does he say? He was like, yeah, fucking the lyrics up, and they take a long time to remember. And I was like, that little last part, maybe not so much, but everything up until that, as far as that scene, I was like, hey, that's funny.
I thought it looked funny.
I like the fact that they got the Captain to come back, the guy who plays Cypher in The Matrix. That's all I know can like pinpoint him from. He's been in a bunch of other shit, but he's always going to be Cypher from The Matrix, like the dude with the soul patch.
Okay, you got Comcast because you're down there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we got Spectrum, and apparently up here, Spectrum has like a streaming service or their own channel or something, because that's what LA's Finest is on. It already aired one season, and it got renewed for a second.
Okay.
So I might have to look.
So
this
wait,
up.
so it's a new show?
It's a new show, but it is a spin-off of the Bad Boys 2 film.
Right,
with
right.
Gabrielle Union reprising her role.
That's what's crazy about it. It's like, you would have thought they was going to make that. They made that 10 years ago?
Well, I think it's been in the works.
A long-ass time.
Well, you know, I mean...
It's like, well,
It's
you know,
been
it's
in the
Hollywood,
works
you know.
since October of 2017, so this is something that is like fucking 14 years out. Like, what would make them want to do this? Unless it's because, if memory serves me right, Bad Boys was at least in post-production or thought back then, too.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Cause
this kind of all came from the idea of we're going to make a third film. Well, what if we take these characters, make a spin-off, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And the show wound up on TV or streaming. It sounds like it's an online thing only, but still, the show, which is a spin-off of the second movie from 16 years ago, came out before the third film.
Yeah.
That timeline's weird.
Yeah.
Unless it has something to do directly with part 3.
They're going to pull a MCU and they're going to tie the show into the movie, make their own universe.
Something like that.
Is it just me, guys? And I mean, and I'm going to try to be mean because, you know, look, Father Time comes for us all. But Martin looks just
Bloated.
Tired and
that too.
old and heavy, and I'm just like, man, like, and then because like it was funny because like I'm to make the thumbnail for this, I was like looking up images from the movie, and I kept coming across like images from like the second Bad Boys and then the first Bad Boys, and I'm just like, man, time was not nice to you, man, because Will looks like consistently the same, like across all three movies, and Martin, he looks pretty much similar in 1 and 2. And then in this, it's like, it's a whole other person. I was like, geez, man. I mean, maybe because he was depressed and shit, because, you know, he was kind of going through some
he went through
mental
a rough
health
patch.
issues. And I believe he has some shit going on with taxes, too, if I'm remembering correctly.
They all got something going on with taxes.
Yeah.
But Martin Lawrence was always a comedian first, whereas Will Smith would be doing these serious, dramatic roles, these action flicks. Like, just the nature of his film career meant he had to stay in shape too, but he's always really been that kind of guy that was in shape.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, I'm more so because Martin's always been kind of scrawny and gangly, so to see him so heavy now, I'm like, man, you don't look anything like. I almost didn't recognize him at first. I was like, damn, that is Martin. It's this is fucked up, but it's too late. I'm already too far into the joke now. He is starting to become his character from Big Mama's house when he was wearing that fat suit. He is becoming...
That's messed up. Nah, he ain't that bad.
Oh, I told you it was too late. I'm already too far into the joke.
Okay, Dave Chappelle, that's enough.
Hey, man, look, we all got something about us we don't like. Like, I'm not perfect by no means. Anyway, the whole point is just that Will looks like he's been in a time capsule this whole time, and Martin has just been living life and like going about his day. And I'm just like, God damn, man, like it's crazy. Like, Will's 50 something.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn. I was like, I hope I look that good next year, let alone when I'm fucking 50.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Though,
because you don't even look 30. So.
Well, hey, I'll take it.
Will is 50, Martin is 54.
Okay, so he got a couple years on Will then. Okay, we'll take that into account as well. One more thing before we jump off of this, I am disappointed because they did not even bother to make a new song for the movie. Like, they just recycled the song from Bad Boys 2 and just slowed it down and put a bunch of like drums in it and shit. It's like, we ain't going up. And I'm like, y'all, this is the song this is Shake a Tail Feather, like, from Bad Boys 2. Like,
I guess it just Missed that part in the song.
Yeah, in the trailer, like, especially towards the end when everything's blowing up and he's, like, jumping on a ladder on a helicopter or some crazy shit. And I was just like, y'all just reuse Shake a Tail Feather? Like, okay.
I mean, whatever.
I guess. I don't know.
I just want to know who asked for another Bad Boy film.
Me! I did! It was me!
You're right. Mel and Martin, because he needed the money and she needed something to watch, I guess.
And me and T-Money have been waiting for Bad Boys 3 forever.
I mean, hey, hopefully it's good. I mean, they're making another Rush Hour as far as I know, so... Hey, and ain't nobody asking for that shit. Chris Tucker is. But...
Chris Tucker and T-Money. That's it.
I mean,
in our studio
I'd watch it too. Yeah. But I hope it's good though. I mean, I just hope they don't pull a Dark Phoenix and they go out with a thud instead of with a bang. Because it's like if they would have stopped making X-Men movies after Logan, they would have left on a high note. But they just kept going.
Yeah.
And with this,
I don't know. Logan wasn't terrible.
But yeah, Ben, do we know when this is coming out? Did you catch it?
October.
We do. No. This is coming out in January.
Yeah, I was like, I thought it was
January
next year.
17th next year.
Of October of next year. Okay.
I mean, no.
No, he's right.
You can
He's
go
right.
there.
Yeah,
October,
I think you're right.
Right, the movie ain't gonna be there. You can go.
January 17th, 2020.
Okay.
No.
Bad Boys for life.
Wait. I do remember now because what made me worried about this is because movies that traditionally come out in January, February aren't usually all that good.
It's true.
So, we'll see though. But I mean, Deadpool broke that trend. I mean, Deadpool came out on Valentine's Day and that did gangbusters. So, I mean, we'll see. All right, moving on.
It will have been 25 years since the first film was released. Shouldn't they be bad men by now? Probably bad seniors would be more accurate.
Welcome to Benwah's Wabbit Hole. It's where I, Benwah, give you a brief synopsis of the random things I found interesting on the internet. Some of these things may be further elaborated on in future podcasts, but I'd recommend you dig deeper for yourself if you're interested.
The views and opinions expressed in the Wabbit Hole are those of Benwah's and Benwah's alone, and do not necessarily reflect the position of any member, affiliate, or future sponsor, despite us not having any, of the One Giant Leap for Geeks podcast.
According to researchers at the University of Bristol, a 17-year-old boy whose diet for years consisted primarily of French fries, potato chips, and white bread became so malnourished that he developed optic neuropathy and is now legally blind. He suffers from avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, which in his case was the inability to eat foods with certain textures. While there is a link between poor diet and vision loss, most instances of optic neuropathy occur in those of an older age, is quite uncommon and usually temporary. Poor diets are, however, one of the leading causes of premature death in the world, and in the U.S. alone, an estimated 1,000 deaths per day are linked to it. Back in June, McCrae Game, founder of Hope for Wholeness, a conversion therapy ministry based in South Carolina, came out of the closet. This is about 2 years after being fired from the organization he founded. Conversion therapy is not just a lie, but it's very harmful because it's false advertising, Game told the Post and Courier. As of now, Game is speaking out about what's occurred and plans to donate any money earned in doing so to the LGBTQ community. According to a 2018 study by UCLA's Williams Institute, nearly 700,000 LGBTQ-identifying adults have undergone conversion therapy treatments or counseling, which has been tied to emotional and psychological trauma. Conversion therapy is condemned by practically every major medical group in the U.S. Robert Axelrod, better known as Lord Zed or Finster from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers franchise, passed away on September 7th at age 70. Robert was an avid guitarist and in the 80s started voice acting for the anime banner The Squirrel before being hired by Saban Productions, now known as BVS Entertainment, in 1984. He's made appearances on multiple television shows and films, though I'm sure most of us will best recognize him as voicing the poor evil villain who through a love potion married Rita Repulsa. Rest in peace, Robert. Fox News reports on PayPal suspending the account for KKK fundraising, and people marginalize the history of them by comparing them to the Black Lives Matter movement or the LGBTQ community who rallied against a religious bigot for refusing to bake a cake. History lesson. The KKK was not a Democrat-Republican political issue. It was a North-South thing, like slavery that came before it and Jim Crow that came after it. And in this case, if you turn to whataboutism when we're discussing the KKK, you're racist. Period. To all those Taylor Swift fans who've never heard of Tool, culture yourself. Matter of fact, the same thing goes to all of you mindless modern music listeners who think that Ozzy Osbourne got the rub from Post Malone or Paul McCartney made it big because of Kanye West. Fuck. Shout out the Real BK on YouTube for the little bit of bubbly meme. Shit had me rolling. And today is the 18th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. That's all I'm going to say about that.
And now back to your regularly scheduled podcast. If a known terrorist/white supremacist hate group can't raise money through a private company's platform, then are we really free? Is this what freedom looks like? Wake up, sheeple.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars.
It's that time again for America's #1 show, Dumb Shit of the Week. That's right, Dumb Shit of the Week is the show where DJ Melly Mel finds dumb shit and we talk about it. Want your submission on the show? Find us on Twitter at GiantLeap4Geeks, or you can email us at officialoglfg@gmail.com. Now here's your host, DJ Melly Mel.
Thank you. All right. So, dumb shit of the week is going to consist of a few things. First of all, to whomever is trying to hack my GameStop account, just say no. You don't want it. Trust me, I don't use it enough to do anything.
No one uses GameStop accounts. GameStop is like teetering on the edge of like bankruptcy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, who the fuck? Maybe they just trying to cash in whatever they can before them bitches close.
Cool. Whatever.
They look. They finna steal your membership to Game Informer magazine, and they finna get your trading credit. So there you go.
Okay. So I just got a notification saying that my GameStop account had been locked because of too many attempts on it.
Suspicious activity.
I'm sitting in the middle of our recording studio, and yeah, I'm not on GameStop. I'm not doing anything with GameStop. More power to you. Okay, so
power to the players.
Right, power on, guys. Power on. Y'all remember a couple weeks ago when we had that ice cream licking challenge?
In the grocery
girl
stores.
was licking the ice cream in the grocery store, and then it spewed over into people licking like at fast food restaurants. There was a picture of a dude licking like 14 hard taco shells in a row, and he just started at the top and went down.
Yeah, it was a worker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he fired.
Apparently, we're back to spitting and or licking food. A video crossed my feed the other day. This guy spits a giant loogie on this deep dish pizza that he's making. And he just goes about his business.
What establishment?
You can't see the logo on the guy's shirt.
Okay. You can't see no boxes in the background?
No,
or okay.
You can't see the boxes. The guy's got an all black uniform on it with a little pizza on the corner.
Huh.
But
maybe it's a smaller chain.
Perhaps.
Or it could be Little Caesars.
That's still somebody's logo.
Yeah.
They gonna know who it is.
It's a little pizza. You can't really see the label across the top, but dude has got 2 deep dish pizzas right in front of him, and he just is about to sauce them and hawks a big loogie right in one, sauces it, and keeps on going. Apparently, this is a thing now. So this is like the 3rd or 4th report of somebody getting spit in their food, just in general.
Yeah. But you know what, though?
Can we stop spitting in the fast food place, please?
Fair. I mean, because that's always been like I don't necessarily want to say it's an old wives' tale, because I feel like it happened a lot less than people believe it happened.
Sure.
Because I worked in fast food. We never did shit like that.
I don't know. I worked in fast food, and I used to have a guy that would not go, like, he'd go to the bathroom, and then he'd not wash his hands.
Okay, that's just trifling.
And then
that ain't him like deliberately like fucking with your food. That's just him being trifling.
I had
because
one
if he don't wash his hands at work, he don't wash his hands
same,
at home either.
I had one girl. She worked at the same establishment that I was at, and she had got her tongue pierced. So she took the tongs and was playing with her tongue ring with the tongs, and then went to use the tongs again to pull the patties off the grill. So I believe that people are just nasty as hell. So that whole wives' tale of, oh, yeah, they're going to spit on your food or whatever at the fast food restaurants. I believe in that because I've seen some gross shit. I never did any of that because I don't want to be a consumer and get somebody's nasty germs. But at the same time, I've seen it happen. So
the only time I could even see you excusing doing that is if like you were mad at somebody, maybe. Like,
sure.
They were just being an asshole through the drive-thru or something like that. I've wanted to, like, fight somebody working fast food and third shift. So, I could see that, but just doing it because it's like, hey, this is funny. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
man?
in the video, it's only, like, a 35-second video.
Sure.
So you can't really, and there's no sound to it. You just...
Can you see the guy's face?
Yeah, you can see his face.
Yeah, no, they gonna figure out who he is. Like, trust me. The internet will hunt this motherfucker down.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they will find out where he worked at. They will find his Facebook. They will find his employer, and they will get his ass fired.
It's like a side view, but I mean, you could still figure it out.
Look,
with
these Snapchat apps and shit.
Oh yeah,
these motherfuckers will reconstruct the other side of his face and be like, "Oh yeah, that's Paul."
Yeah, well, Paul's about to lose his job because he hawks a big old loogie in this deep dish pizza.
Fuck, man, like why would you do some shit like that?
I don't know. I had to push the video away. Like, I had to put something over the video because it just kept looping, and I was waiting for us to get to the part where, so I didn't lose the video.
Sure.
And I had to cover it because it's just disgusting. I
will say this, though. To Paul's credit, at least he did it before he put it in the oven because hopefully it cooked out any kind of bacteria or whatever that was in his spit.
No, the dough was already cooked.
But you said that he put the pasta sauces, he had to put it back in the oven, right? To melt the cheese and cook the meat and all that.
I guess
I mean, it's probably fine.
Still. Paul gonna lose his job.
Yeah. He should.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that is, that's our dumb shit this week. To recap, we have people trying to hack my GameStop, and we have people hawking loogies in fast food pizza. So,
did like dumb shit come out of like a time machine this week? Because I feel like this is all like 90s shit. And GameStop.
You know what's kind of funny? What's funny is
No, if it was 90s, it'd be Funko
or Blockbuster.
Yeah, okay.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that because I was debating doing like a throwback dumb shit this week because I couldn't find anything, and then this just kind of
dumb shit from the past.
Right? I don't know. I might have to go there next week, but I don't know. It just kind of fell in my lap, so it worked out.
This week in dumb shit history.
At least we now live in the age where these idiots are so fucking stupid, they film themselves doing these things.
Yeah, that's one thing I could say about our childhood is at least the dumb shit that we did is not on record.
Right. That's why I said, man, can we just go back to the fire challenge? Like, at least at that point, you were only hurting yourself, you know, and you weren't, like, being, like, a menace to society. Like, if you just setting yourself on fire, I feel like that's just Darwinism just working itself out.
Right. Yeah,
or the Tide Pods, one of those two, because then only you are being hurt now.
That's true,
and you ain't fucking with my food.
That's true. Yeah. So, word to the wise: don't hack people's shit, and don't be a douchebag and spit on people's food. That can actually be a felony. Just so you know,
Or if you're gonna hack something that's relevant. Like, don't hack my fucking AIM account.
Right. I'm gonna hack your
the planet,
MySpace,
dude.
man.
Right. These motherfuckers trying to fucking God, I just lost it. It was the other thing that kids used to talk on. My Yahoo Messenger.
Yahoo
yeah.
Messenger.
Oh shit! You had AIM, Yahoo, MSN Messenger. You go a little older. You got ICQ.
Right.
Back in the
Like,
day.
these motherfuckers changed my Internet Explorer settings.
I have a girl at work that still uses Internet Explorer.
Oh my
She's
God.
like, why is this going
Like,
so
I delete
slow?
that fucking thumbnail as soon as I open that fucking laptop for the first time. Like, nope, I don't even want this shit on my desktop.
Yeah, she's like, why is this going so slow? I said, first of all, when's the last time you deleted your history? My what? I said, oh dear God.
Oh,
I said, and second of all, you're using Internet Explorer. I'm using what? Oh dear God. So I cleared her history and set up Chrome, and she's like, oh shit, this goes way faster.
Oh, yeah.
Try it? Yeah, try it.
It's like you're basically using like the equivalent to like the telegraph. Like,
So let's stay smart, kids.
Right.
Let's stay smart, kids. If you want your submission to be considered for dumb shit of the week, you can send it to me either via the show's email, which is officialoglfg@gmail.com, or you can send it to me on Twitter at FroggyBeaver. Yeah. Moving on.
Who the hell is trying to hack your GameStop account? That is so irrelevant anymore that I'm sure if they'd asked, you'd have just given them the password.
Take breath, time, hurricane grace. Rewind the clock back, counting days. I lost my strength by lifting weights. Because I slept for 7 days.
Resident Evil is kind of having like a renaissance right now. The Resident Evil 2 remake came out, and that was, from everything I've heard, highly acclaimed. From the gameplay footage I've watched of it, it looks fun. And it's inevitable that once the remake of Resident Evil 2 was successful, that one, we were going to continue to get remakes of the other Resident Evil entries, because we already had the Resident Evil, the original remake, and now we're going to get Resident Evil 2, and probably 3, and then Nemesis, Code Veronica, the whole thing. But Resident Evil used to be my favorite survival horror game until it wasn't. Like, Silent Hill was pretty high up there too, but Resident Evil was like my favorite. And I liked it until it stopped being,
relevant
survival horror. Like, once it became more like action games and all these like quick time events and shit like that, it kind of lost me, because I'm just like, well, honestly, I'm still so old school with Resident Evil where I still prefer the fixed camera. I don't like the over the shoulder camera. I liked not knowing what's in a room because the camera's only showing you one corner and you have to walk into it even though you know something's in there because you can hear it but you can't see it.
Right.
Like, all that, like the limitations, just like with Silent Hill, like the whole reason the game was so foggy and shit was because they didn't have the graphical power to render everything without it looking all choppy and shitty, so they made the field of view smaller by just putting fog everywhere. But it was because of those limitations that made the games unique and interesting and fun.
Right.
And after a while, Resident Evil just kind of became just like damn near like Uncharted with zombies, pretty much. Like these motherfuckers, like, there's like action scenes and they're like jumping out of explosions. Wesker becomes like fucking the Winter Soldier on some super soldier serum shit, and it's just like, okay, what is happening? And don't even get me started on Resident Evil movies. Like, the first Resident Evil is good. I was wondering
if you were going to go there.
But every other Resident Evil movie after that is just
garbage.
Varying degrees of shit.
Not
but
even garbage.
In my personal opinion, I mean, I don't know how Benwah feels. Maybe he likes the Resident Evil movies. I mean, you clearly don't like the other ones, but
first one wasn't bad. But
yeah, like, I don't want to speak for everybody, but for me personally, like, the Resident Evil luster kind of faded over time, and according to this, from what it looks like in the trailer, we're probably getting something new for this franchise, but not really new in general. the trailer, we see 4 characters who basically look like they came out of like the Breakfast Club or some shit. Like you got like the jock with like the leather jacket on,
right?
And then you got like the nerdy girl, and she's wearing like a yellow sweater and glass. She looks like Daphne, sorry, Velma.
I would say she did kind of look like Velma.
Yeah. And then you have the black guy, and then you have like the misunderstood like kind of punk girl with like the eyeliner and the leather
like the
and shit.
Cast of Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah, and I'm like, God damn, like, is this like one of those like parody games? But no, this is legit what these motherfuckers are gonna look like, I guess. But they walk into this room, and it looks like it's some kind of Umbrella laboratory, and there's a guy in another room like watching him on cameras, and he's like hitting these switches and buttons, and he's like releasing zombies, and like the lickers come out and they're like killing them and shit like that. And then towards the very end of the trailer, he puts on these like VR gloves or some shit, and then Mr. X comes out, and he's like controlling him because his eyes turn red when the gloves turn red. And I'm like, oh, okay, so
we're like playing a game inside of a game.
Right. From what I'm getting from this, it
Very
looks
Matrix-y.
like it's going to be like the Friday the 13th game. Or Evolve, or what was the other one? Dead by Daylight.
Man, it looks like it's going to be Left 4 Dead, man. That's
Kinda, but...
That is Left 4 Dead.
Right, but what I'm getting from the fact that guy's controlling Mr. X, I'm getting like it's going to be a 5-player multiplayer game where 4 people are fighting against one other person who's controlling the boss. Because that's how Friday the 13th is. Like, you can play as Jason, and like other people can play as the camp counselors, or like Evolve, where you can play as the creature, and other people play as like the military trying to kill you. And Dead by Daylight's the same way. Like, that's what I'm gleaming from it, is that you're going to be able to control Mr. X, or maybe a different boss from one of the other, parts of the franchise, and then other characters will be trying to kill you, and you can like swap out back and forth. I could be wrong, but I mean, that's kind of like the going theory around the internet as well, too, is that it's looking like it's going to be a game like that. Which, if it is, I'm kind of bummed, because I want it to be more like Left 4 Dead. Because I really, really enjoy that game. Like, I'm really sad that we haven't got more Left 4 Dead games. But, I mean, this is the closest that I thought we were going to get to it. But I don't think it's going to be quite that, though.
Now, am I the only one that was getting like a very Dr. Claw vibe when you saw those gloves from that?
Yeah. He's like, I'll get you,
I had
Gadget.
the Inspector Gadget
that's
song playing in my head. I'm thinking like Inspector Gadget, in up-resed Left 4 Dead. And I love Left 4 Dead. The community, at least for the PC versions of Left 4 Dead, is still very active in the modding. So you can still play it, have a lot of fun going through shit. But all I got out of this was Left 4 Dead. That's all I could think of. Which, I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No, I hope it is.
If they implement it right and it looks good, I think it could be phenomenal, because I wish there were more Left 4 Dead games.
Yeah, because I've always said, even back when I was playing Resident Evil 2, I was like, this would be really fun if you could play with Claire and Leon at the same time, like, co-op. Even back then, I was like, they should do a multiplayer Resident Evil game. And in all the other installments, they always have like 2 or more protagonists, but they almost never do multiplayer. Like, they've had a couple Resident Evil multiplayer games. It was like, I think it was one like Resident Evil Outbreak and something else, like Umbrella something, I don't know. But they were, I'm pretty sure, like spin-offs and not like main title entries, and they were on like, like the DS or some shit like that, like a handheld console, not like the main consoles. But they released this trailer, and they're supposed to be showing the game in some gameplay at the Tokyo Game Show this week. But as of recording this, we haven't gotten any more information. So hopefully, once that comes out and they show that at the presentation, we'll have more information on what exactly this game is. But I mean, just from the little cinematic though, it looks like it could be cool. Like, regardless if it's more in the vein of Outbreak or I'm sorry, Outlast, or if it's more in the vein of Left 4 Dead, I either way, like I just want to get another good Resident Evil game. Like I don't want an action game. I want a legitimate zombie survival
Zombie
horror
shooter
game.
game.
Yeah. Right. Minus the explosions and like superhuman powers and all that kind of shit. Though I am curious if I am right and it is more like Dead by Daylight or something like that, then I would like to be able to play as other bosses from the Resident Evil games as opposed to just Mr. X.
That'd be cool.
Like if you could be like, say,
Albert Wesker.
Right. Wesker or William Birkin for Resident Evil 2, or Alexia Ashford from Code Veronica.
Yeah.
Like any of them, or Nemesis,
Nemesis
the Tyrant.
would be cool.
Like that would be dope. So if it is going to be like Dead by Daylight and shit like that, and you can control the boss as a separate player, then give me like all the bosses that we've ever had through Resident Evil, and in that way I have choices.
That'd be cool.
I think that would be dope. But yeah, no, like I said, they're going to be showing it at the Tokyo Game Show this week, so we will see what happens, and I'll give you an update next week.
Sounds good to me.
All right. I can't fucking breathe. Moving on.
Master, you have to get over the fixed camera thing. Resident Evil stopped doing that decades ago. It's not coming back. Get with the times, old man.
For our final thing this week, we're going to do something special. We are going to give a live, quote unquote, so to speak, trailer reaction to a little movie called The Reliant. This is a indie project. It's a faith-based film starring Kevin Sorbo.
He's in a lot of faith-based films.
You know, we're going to talk about that because I knew he was in that movie, God's Not Dead.
Uh-huh.
But after finding out about this, I kind of dug a little bit into what he's been doing lately, and I'm like, oh, this is a trend. Okay. So yeah. We'll,
I would say I didn't make the connection when Ben said it earlier off mic, or maybe on mic.
Maybe.
And either way, Ben said something earlier, and I didn't make the connection, and I was like, oh yeah, he is. He's in quite a few.
Yep. He has a whole nother resurgence to his career. This is the Sorboissance.
No.
that don't work as well.
No.
Oh God, no, don't start that.
The Kevanescence? That sounds better than Saborisance, but
Saborisance sounds like something that come out of the X-Men.
Right. It sounds like something be at the food court at the mall. Saborisance.
Some Chinese food.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna watch this and we're gonna react to it and then we're gonna dissect it and talk about it. Okay. So you ready, Ben? All right. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Well, marriage will not be easy.
Oh wow, the lighting.
Love is a battlefield.
Gunshot.
Oh, they're going hunting. A white nationalist rise? Is that what this is about?
No, don't you get it? When the left takes your guns away, then the whole world, the country is going to just fall apart.
Or are these supposed to be government people attacking them?
No, this is like Antifa or some shit.
Because all I see is a bunch of white people shooting other people, and it makes me think the KKK. Like the NRA is going crazy. Okay, we got a black woman in this movie, so it's not racist.
Oh yeah, they have to stop and have like a Jesus music video in the middle of it. Oh, she has like bow and arrow. Oh, it's like the Hunger Games.
I thought Thou Shall Not Kill.
Exactly like the Hunger Games.
Like, this is Bridezilla. Hardcore right wing.
You know what? That dude got some chiseled ass.
I think y'all are missing
like
the point
jawline.
of this movie here.
Which is?
Haven't decided yet, but I think y'all are missing it.
A lot of crying.
Oh, he's a doctor
If someone's
too.
in
Okay.
surgery.
That's typical for him.
And then he's
Well,
like
he signed
got
some.
like
He
an
got
assault
prayer.
rifle and shit, and he's like, Oh, that kid had a
They
katana?
got a samurai? They got a
Hell
fucking
yeah.
katana? And bows?
You know, this looks like it would be like a
cake?
low budget, like Stephen King, like TV movie.
What? Yo, Jesus ain't gonna pull a bullet from your brain. Like, you
Oh,
relying on what? Yo, if Jesus better show up in this movie.
man. Oh, man. Okay, you know, it's funny because that is actually, because see, there's a few different versions of this. This is actually not the one that I saw. There's a different cut of this trailer, and it's like, it has like some like titles that pop up throughout it, and it says like when the Second Amendment is outlawed, the only people who have guns are the outlaws, because they don't actually tell you in this trailer what's happening.
Right.
And the other one that I saw,
Oh.
it's the economy has collapsed and the government has banned guns in the country. And so there's all these riots and civil unrest and shit. And this family, like Kevin Sorbo and them, they're like in the driveway and they're talking and they hear a gunshot in the suburbs and they're like, that's in our neighborhood. And he's like, get everyone in the car. And then there's just like explosions and like a car drives through like a mall.
I retract my previous statement.
Yeah, no.
That is...
Wait, the economy collapsed. How?
Yeah, well, they don't explain, and I got that in my notes as well, right? Right.
got that frog in my throat.
I got that in my notes too. In the synopsis on IMDb, it just says economic collapse causes widespread rioting and social unrest, leaving a lovesick 19-year-old girl struggling to care for her siblings in a stretch of woods bordered by lawless anarchy, wondering why a good God would let this happen. So we're hitting all the quadrants here, okay? We got the libtards, okay? We got the Second Amendment people, and we got the Christians hit. So we hit all the quadrants in one little movie. You know what this is?
Mm-hmm.
Obvious propaganda, for one.
Mm-hmm.
But what this is if Rush Limbaugh and Tucker Carlson had a baby, and that baby had a night terror, and that night terror became reality, it would be this movie, because this is
wow, that was really
yeah. Thank you.
7 degrees
I
from
worked hard
Kevin
on
Bacon
that.
on that one,
because this is like
or
every
Kevin Sorbo, I should say.
right there you go. This is like every like Fox and Friends or Tucker Carlson like conservative talking point of, oh, they're gonna take our guns away, and then there's gonna be another civil war, and this, that, and the other, and yada yada yada. And it's like, okay. So in one hand, we're trying to say that the left wants to ban guns because we don't like guns, but we're gonna take your guns and then shoot you with them. I'm like, because that's basically what this movie's trying to say. It's like, well, if you take our guns away, then all these Antifa folks are gonna come and start killing us. And it's like, are they though? It's like, it's like I said, it's obvious propaganda, and it's so bad too. It's badly acted. It's badly written. Like the soundtrack was terrible. It shot really weird.
It shot like most Christian films do.
Yes.
It's acted like most Christian films are.
Yes.
And the soundtrack is like most Christian films come out to be.
Mm.
Not that I'm saying that there's anything wrong with Christian films.
Right. I don't want to confuse people. We're not just knocking on this because it's a faith-based movie.
There are a number of Christian movies that are like my absolute favorite.
Sure, I love Rudy.
I just want to know, you said it hits all the quadrants, but you only named 3 of them.
Oh yeah, I did. I guess middle America, white people.
Yeah.
I guess would be the 4th quadrant.
The suburbs.
Yeah, so you got the Second Amendment people, you got the Christians, you got the conservatives, and then you just got the white suburban. Like, I voted for Trump because I was scared of voting for Hillary.
I would say technically that's all one category, but
yeah.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out like the basis of this film. Okay, the government collapses. There's civil unrest. People obviously try to rebel. People who have the means to try to take over, and I get that. That makes
sounds
sense.
like the
We've
Hunger
seen that
Games.
in films
Right, yeah.
and just stories before.
Sure.
I need a better explanation, and I need to know how God is supposed to fix this.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because in the end, there must be a happy ending. Otherwise, this whole idea of having faith means nothing.
I got it. What is
the ending of this
story? I got
story?
it, Ben. It's not going to be about God restoring, normalcy. It's going to be about God restoring the faith. Because 90% of these Christian movies, that's how it is. It might not end with a good, it'll end with I was lost and now I'm found kind of message. Not necessarily the situation has changed. Mm-hmm. Just I learned how to look at my outlook on it.
And whoever is the atheist or non-believing person in the movie is going to either die or have something bad happen.
I was going to say, it's actually funny that you mentioned that, because Kevin Sorbo is an atheist in one of them.
And God's Not Dead.
And God's Not Dead. And then he finds God as he's dying.
Yeah.
But we need an empirical resolution to get closure in a story. That's how a narrative works. These motherfuckers are taking faith. They're forgetting this. It's one thing to have faith and deny science, but you're going to take it into a medium where they may. I don't know. Obviously, we haven't seen the film. They're going to take it into a medium where they're going to completely deconstruct the entire actual build of a narrative and fuck with that too. I'm gonna get all hopped up on this shit, 'cause I almost want to see this movie just so I can hate
Oh no! I want to see it out of
more
curiosity as well, because I'm I know it's going to be bad, but sometimes I just like to watch bad things to have something to laugh at, and because like I said, it's obvious propaganda, and I mean, this is shooting for lowest common denominator, either people who are probably Alex Jones listeners and or older boomers who are just scared of anything that didn't come out of the 60s. And it's just these colored folks and these young kids and, they're all crazy and protesting and shit. And it's didn't your generation start all this protesting shit? I'm y'all motherfuckers was protesting military soldiers in Washington and shit. These kids is protesting on a college campus because they don't want Milo Yiannopoulos dumbass saying some stupid shit. So it's the disconnect there is always fascinating to me, because I'm
well, the whole idea of the bleeding heart liberal dates back to the 60s during the civil rights and women's lib. That's what they called people who wanted women to have rights, who wanted black people to not be the whole separate but equal shit. Right. Whenever you hear somebody use that term or talk to liberals as if they're negative in that connotation, it's usually because the liberals are doing something that's right. Mm-hmm. I don't mean right. I mean correct, ethically sound, morally sound, progressive in nature, inclusive.
Right. Exactly. It's funny too, because watching stuff like this is it gives you a window into how these people think the country is, or what the other side is they legit, some of these people legitimately believe that the left is just trying to take their guns away, or tear the country apart, or we hate America, or we're trying to do a white genocide or some shit. And it's just they legitimately believe that shit. And it's when I see movies like this where it's just they're not even dog whistling, they screaming this shit. They're hey, it saddens me, because I'm these people have made a whole industry off of fear mongering. Mm-hmm. They're not making movies. This is just propaganda. The whole point of this is just to scare people. It's not trying to tell a story. It's trying to freak you the fuck out. And that's sad.
Well, they need to do that because people who are complacent or comfortable ain't going to do anything. They need to scare others into action. Because people don't do anything if they don't feel a need to do it. And I know we're talking in a religious context, but depending upon the context in which we're talking about fear-mongering, that can be the epitome of privilege. This idea that people want something which in some way is going to hinder what you have. Or because they're different from you, they must want to stop you from having what you have.
True.
Which in all reality is not the case. As most people generally want to avoid the crazy.
Right. Yeah, most people don't thrive in crazy. Actually, very few people actually, do well and enjoy the chaos.
And it's a disconnect between that sect of right-wingers, that sect of libertarians who are more left in the sense that if you want to be religious, that's cool, but don't try to impose your religion upon us. And it's kind of fucked up how some of those people think that it is their God-given duty to impose that upon us. And that if we don't adhere to what they think, we are different or trying to end it. I'm going to go off on a tangent here because I've dealt with shit like this and people like this. And it resonates a little bit with me. I'm going off the rails. We're just talking about a dumb fucking movie.
Oh, no. I know what you mean. And I mean, and like my biggest takeaway from this, minus the obvious propaganda messaging in this, and these people basically just scamming people into being afraid to get their movie tickets and shit. And people will like show this shit in like churches and Sunday school and shit like that. Like, oh, see, this could happen. This is why we gotta. It's like, man, it's sad. But what I'm really disappointed in is I'm disappointed in Kevin Sorbo. You laugh, but I am. Kevin Sorbo, I'm disappointed because I trusted you. Okay? I looked up to you. I grew up with you. Now look at you. Like, you were Hercules, man. I saw you and Xena the Warrior Princess whoop ass for many, many seasons growing up. You were like a hero to me.
Like a Saturday morning special.
And you fell off the face of the earth for years, and then you come back and literally every single thing he does now is faith-based or faith-based adjacent movies. Mm-hmm. Like, he's found, and I get it, some actors go to TV, they do smaller roles, they do indie stuff, maybe not big studio movies. I get it. But
he was already on TV and doing indie stuff, so
right.
Now he drops down.
So, and I mean, and maybe he believes in this shit. Maybe, or not in like the faith, but I mean, maybe he believes in the messages that the movies are doing. Like, maybe he thinks that he's doing a positive. Like, I don't feel that you can't make a mainstream movie and not have a religious message in it. I just feel like it doesn't need to be overt, and it doesn't need to be like sanctimonious. And at the same time, I don't necessarily feel like if you're going to make a hardcore faith-based movie where it's like, no, the whole point of this movie is to say a message, it doesn't have to be bad. Like, you can make a good movie and still be saying something.
And there's plenty of them out there. Like I said, I have several faith-based movies that I'm very fond of.
Yeah. And what's so crazy to me about it is I don't know if they didn't cut him some kind of special check, or he like, hey, I found a niche and I'm finna just work the hell out of this shit.
That's probably what it is.
But this is what he's working on between now and 2020. Okay.
Okay.
So we got the Reliant, obviously. We have Miracle in East Texas, the Penitent Thief, The Pastor, The Mustard Seed, Poison Sky, One Nation Under God, Faith Under Fire, Bernie the Dolphin 2, I don't know what the fuck that is, Night's End, which is a show, and The Legend of Cat Claw's Mountain, and Hunter's Moon Rising, and finally, Devotion. So, just off the titles, I can pretty much guarantee over half of those movies are faith-based movies. The Bernie the Dolphin 2, maybe not so much, but well,
I don't know. That damn dolphin.
It's like Free Willy with Jesus in it. And
Free Willy with Bernie's face.
Like
Bernie Sanders.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
Kevin Sorbo is one of those guys who, let's be real, he claims to have been ostracized in Hollywood because of his religion.
Okay, so then he he
actually does believe all this.
Okay, because I wasn't sure what his
now to an extent. I mean, obviously, I don't know what he's been through. There's a couple of scenarios that seem plausible because I know they've happened to other people. One, Maybe he pulled like a straight up Kirk Cameron and tried to get self-righteous, putting his spin on shit that he's involved with, and it alienated himself. Because I mean, if you ever like read up or watched the history of Growing Pains, when Kirk Cameron became a born again Christian, he wielded a massive amount of influence on that show.
Yeah.
So either one, he did that and got himself ostracized.
Yeah, he was a fucking star.
Two, the dude played on Hercules for years and then went to Andromeda.
Yeah,
for
I forgot
years.
about that. Yeah,
he's a big dude who probably doesn't have the biggest range. He probably got typecast a lot. Let's be real. A lot of people probably didn't have a lot of faith in him, not because of his religion, but because of just
He's Kevin Sorbo.
his ability or what people recognize.
Right. They know him as either Hercules or the captain from the Andromeda show. So
yeah. And I have no idea of his personality because I've never really necessarily heard anything bad about him. But look at his, I guess, contemporary during that time period. You had Hercules, you had Xena. What has Lucy Lawless really been able to do? Because between me being a kid and a teenager watching Xena, I didn't see her again until like Euro Trip came out.
Well, she hasn't been in like
dominatrix.
movies, but she was in that Spartacus show on Showtime for a while.
I think she did a TV show.
Yeah, she was on that for a bit.
But how long ago was that?
Yeah, a few years now. Yeah, about 10 years ago at this point. Yeah.
And she's doing like Ash versus the Evil Dead, if that's still going
sure.
too. But I mean, like.
But you're right. Her career kind of petered out to where she was probably just doing conventions more than actual roles and anything.
Like, I'm not so quick to jump against him saying that he got banished for Christianity, but given the nature of the things he's been doing, and like, I have a reason to think he probably brought a lot of that stuff on.
I feel like a lot of times when people say that shit, that's the case. Is that they were pushing their beliefs in front of people's faces and making them like make decisions based around like, oh well, now that I'm born again Christian, I don't want to do scenes where I have to kiss somebody in the mouth, or I don't want to give this messaging because this goes against my whatever. Then that's when you become problematic. Like, no one gives a shit, and I'm sure no one gives a shit in Hollywood whether you're a Christian, Muslim, if you're a Tibetan monk. They like, as long as it don't interfere with filming, I could give a fuck.
Right.
Like, to be honest.
And don't be no Jusei Smollett.
Right, exactly. Like, as long as you don't become a problem on set, you can believe, motherfucker, if you want to pray to your Siamese cat, knock yourself the fuck out.
Flying spaghetti monster.
Like, this is Hollywood, motherfucker. People do all kind of crazy shit.
And going to what you said, this movie and films like this is meant for a select few. It's meant for the already hardcore religious people. It will only really be watched by them or by some of the critics,
us, or
people. By people, ironically, and this winds up being like a cult classic for how shit it winds up being. In my prediction, this winds up being real.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm holding out no hope.
But it doesn't matter if you're in television, on film, read books, whatever. The general populace, the average Hollywood viewer, doesn't want to be preached to.
Yep.
If you want to believe in whatever you want to believe, keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
That ain't that the point?
Yeah.
You believe it's internal to you. Your belief, your faith, whatever have you. That's all something that's between you and whomever it is or whatever it is you believe.
Exactly. It's like, you have the right to believe what you want to believe, and I have the right to not have to hear about that shit.
And that's what bothers me.
Oh yeah.
The minute people start saying, if they believe in something and they're outspoken about it, okay, cool. You do you, bro. But the minute you start like bringing that to me, telling me, preaching to me, getting self-righteous to me, that's when we got the problem. And I feel like a lot of times these hardcore Christians, especially like the Kirk Camerons or maybe him in this case, the minute they come to somebody else and try to do something and that other person's like, whoa, hold up, no, they suddenly get on the defensive as if you hate them and you stopped them.
Yeah, it's like, you're suppressing me. Like, no, I just don't want to hear about that shit.
Yeah.
But it's sad to see where Mr. Sorbo's career has ended up, but I will probably thoroughly enjoy watching this movie. Not for the reasons that they want, but still, I will get some enjoyment out of it. That being said, though, that is it for the show. Remember, you can always find us at our home, OneGiantLeapForGeeks.Libsyn.com. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Make sure to show us some love, so go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, rate, follow, review us, and all that shit.
And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, or you just want to say hi, if you'd like to expand upon anything that we discussed, you can always email us at officialoglfg@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at GiantLeap4Geeks. Myself, I am on Twitter at FroggyBeaver. And Ben is on Twitter at Benwah Gaming. EENWAH Gaming. We are also on Facebook, Reddit, Instagram. All you have to do is search for One Giant Leap for Geeks. Please keep it civil, and you guys have a good night. Bye.